Welcome to the MLB Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by lineups.com. Maddie and Josh here with you guys on a pretty full Tuesday slate. Going to have a couple best bets each for you as always. Make sure you are subscribed to that channel. Coming back to you each and every weekday with these MLB best bets for you guys. So do continue to follow along all season. We'll be getting into the two picks we have each here, coming off a 500 day, looking to maybe at least go 3-1 today. But let's go ahead and get into the first look you've got here, Maddie, as we're talking about some team totals on your end, starting with the Padres that you like to get 4 runs tonight.
Yeah, Paul Skenes is washed.
Are we saying that? I think are we saying that?
I think he is.
When do we make the call? Like, what's the time of death? When do we go time of death on Paul Skenes being the best pitcher in the league?
I won't say he's washed. Maybe he's in a coma. Maybe he's not like DOA, but like he was certainly DOA this season, and I think we have to recognize that in a vacuum. His velocity is down significantly.
Yeah.
And it's trickling down still. Like, it's not like it reached a point and just stayed there. It's still going down. The Padres have figured out a way to have offense this season. And this number at 3.5 just made sense to me. I mean, Paul Skenes, and I almost took his earned runs was lined at 1.5 minus 190. I'm just gonna let y'all sit on that thought for a second. If we're getting a 1.5 Paul Skenes line for earned runs at minus 190, and we're getting a team total over 3.5 at minus 118, and Paul Skenes has been going on average 15 outs, so 5 innings, this Pirates bullpen is disastrous. It's not good. They picked up some they picked up some arms at the trade deadline, but they're still not good. If Paul Skenes just gives us 2, I feel comfortable going into the latter half of this game, and I think it's possible he gives us 3. I don't think that's an absurd ask. I think the minus 190 is telling you that. Paul Skenes is bad, and we're just betting on this current version of. He hasn't been terrible before, but we're just betting on this current version that he is, and I think he's extremely vulnerable. San Diego is 7th in WRC's RC plus, 8th in OPS, 7th in expected WOBA versus right-handed pitching over the last 14 days. They're 4th, and 4th over the last 30. Yeah, I don't know how many ways I have to explain this pick, and watch Paul Skenes go throw an absolute dime piece today. Like, it's possible. It's within the realm of probability, but it's just, if you're looking at it pregame, it doesn't look that way. Like, the Padres have ranked as good as first in WRC plus in the last 14 days, just depending on where you want to look at that sample. And San Diego doesn't need to blow up Skenes or this Pirates team to even get to this number. This is a low number. The complete we're getting because complete total is 7.5, and it's a derivative of that. And maybe you make the argument, well, if you're not willing to go over the 7.5, you shouldn't be going over the 3.5. I think the Padres are the team that scores here. Michael King isn't a slouch. I don't like backing him very often, but I think the Padres are more likely to score than the Pirates are. So I think there's room in that margin of error there. Now, 118, we only need this 54% of the time. I would ask anyone, just go look at the recent game logs for Paul Skenes. It's over 54% of the time. I assume this is hitting. Like, I feel very confident in making that statement without going looking at it myself. San Diego is legitimately hot. Like, I don't know how to explain it, what to say beyond that, but they have been very good. I wanted to back them yesterday. I'm happy I stayed off of it. The line didn't make sense because I wouldn't have made that a coin flip of the game. The market did. The market's agreeing with me here, though. Minus 190 for the earned runs on Paul Skenes, and his walks have been way up, and this team will walk. They've gotten a lot better. They've gotten a lot better plate discipline than what they were earlier this season. And Fernando Tatis has been hot since he realized all you have to do is connect the bat and the ball again, and then it'll go out of the park. So yeah, how this fails is it lives and dies Paul Skenes. But right now, the version of Paul Skenes we're getting, I feel very comfortable going over 3.5 here.
Yeah, it's a different Paul, man. There was a small stretch in June, even a small stretch in July, where you thought maybe he's going to make a bit of a comeback, but the bar just got lowered at this point, to the point where we're like 6 innings is a gift from this dude that you're not getting. with any kind of consistency anymore, and he can't make it. It's the underlying stuff that scares you, and it's not quite like control. That's the scary part. Is it's not like some weird in his head stuff. So we'll see if he can make the bounce back, but I don't know that it's going to happen this season. So I'm going to start. I have a little juicier money line as my other play here, but I'm going to start with the one that I think is just, it's not really fully based on price. I just really like the Giants a lot more in this position than I do on the other side with the Reds, who obviously let you down big time yesterday with Mr. Burns and the Giants offense coming out of nowhere. But now we're talking about Brady Singer, Adrian Hauser. Both bullpens are pretty rested. I would still give a slight edge to the Giants, but Singer is coming in here having allowed 3+ in each of his last 6 starts. He's just an innings eater, right? At this point for the Reds, they're just like, when we need either to save the bullpen or we just want to have that extended rest for the bullpen, then we're going to just leave Singer out there for 6 innings regardless, because he has the arm strength to do it. But he just has not been getting anything close to the sort of the outcomes that he needs. In his last, those 6 starts I mentioned, really not super sharp overall. 25-12, basically a 2-to-1 K to walk ratio. That's over 35 innings. In those 35 innings, he's given up 40 hits, a bunch of barrels as well, right around 11% in the last 2. Not great. He's given up too many barrels, obviously. Hauser's been kind of the opposite in a way. Like, he's been more of a bulk reliever, honestly. He's been coming out of the pen a bunch. He is a guy that can just eat up 4 innings for you randomly. But I think he's coming into his own a bit more, because it was the month of April that really screwed this guy over. It was a brutal month for him. He gave up 21 earned runs in the month of April. On the season as a whole, he's down to a 4.08 ERA. The expected stuff's a little bit higher for sure for him, but I mean, basically we've been looking at about a 3.0 ERA for this dude since April 30th. Like, since May 1st came around, he's been a good enough pitcher. And like I said, there's been some long relief outings in there, but you look at the bats on the other side. The Giants currently against righties are 11th in WOBA this month so far. So they've had a really good August against righties. They're slashing 244, 316, 419. It's not great, but they're still in the top half there in weighted runs created plus, above 105. Reds are bad everywhere else. Right now, since in August, 25th in WOBA. They're down at an 81 weighted runs created plus, meaning they're basically going to be bottom 5 consistently with that number. There's a few teams that are in like the 45s over that small game sample size, but I still think the slashing for them down at a 205 average, 377 on the OPS. I just like the San Francisco bullpen better as well. Lower, they have the better bullpen and a lower xERA and FIP. I think that you give enough of the advantages that around even money, I'll take the Giants in this one.
Yeah, man, F the Reds.
I knew you'd hate it. I knew where you're coming from today.
Yeah, I toyed with backing Cincinnati here just because of the number. And I ended up just not doing it because it's one for Chase Burns to have a blow up game just out of nowhere, because he's not going to be perfect all the time.
Yeah.
It's a complete other thing for the Cincinnati Reds not to get anything off of Winston Hunt yesterday. Yeah, so that's a big reason why I was like, man, F those Reds.
It was a no sweat bet. There was really never a point in the game
that
that you had control of it.
But yeah, I tend to agree with you. Like, just looking at Adrian Hauser's recent games, like, you can make the argument, man, it was against Cleveland that he went 5 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 4 hits, 2 walks. But then, Houston's up and down as a team offensively. They're really good against right-handed pitching. And he went 6 versus them and 0 earned runs, 2 hits, and 1 walk. Like, and then Detroit, depending on where they got them, it looks like they got them early July. So maybe it was they were tapering off their offensive stint. But like, 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 on run and 6 hits. Like, teams are just not scoring on Adrian Hauser, even if they do get the hits. Like, he's able to get out of the traffic. And then you look on the flip side of the coin, Lauder has given up 4, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 5, 0, and 1 in his last however many games that was. He's given up 5, 8, 8, 5, 7, 6, 4, 4, 3, 2, 9, 2, and 3 hits allowed in those games, and he's allowing people to get on base via walks. And those are against the likes of St. Louis, whose offense we don't like. The Marlins offense, who has not been the same since All-Star break. The Washington offense without CJ Abrams and James Wood. The Athletics offense without Shea Langoliers, and that was at home in Cincinnati. The Cleveland offense, like, these teams are not teams that you want to give up offense to. And so, yeah, I tend to agree with you at the minus 105 price. If we're speaking purely on price and probability, makes a lot of sense to me, especially with what I saw the Cincinnati Reds do yesterday. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Where I want to go, and man, is this an absolute stinker? I had to go to the bottom of the barrel to get to it, but give me the Mariners over 3.5 team total, also at minus 118. This is an ugly bet. I'm not even going to front with you. I don't blame you if you don't want to tell it. But on today's slate, there's slim pickings. There's multiple ways I thought about attacking this. One, I think Aaron Nola can have a good game here and this still hit. Like, I think Aaron Nola can strike out or punch out, however you want to say it, 6 batters, maybe even more. Maybe he can get to 7. I legitimately think Aaron Nola has been good away from Philadelphia, and we've backed him a couple times. He still carries a 5.26 ERA, a 145 WHIP, and Seattle's offense, whether you've been paying attention or not, post that Milwaukee game where they got hit by a football score of 22-0, they realized, hey guys, to win games, we got to score runs. And I just think this is a too low of a number. I understand it's a 7.5 total again, and I'm really banking on going in contrast to the market. I think 3.5 is just too low though, and I think the minus 118 is kind of showcasing that too. The Mariners rank 4th in WRC plus, 8th in OPS and expected WOBA versus right-handed pitching over the last 14 days. The pitch mix is a little concerning, but it's only because of one pitch. It's the curveball. The Mariners will absolutely get cooked by the curveball. However, the flip side of that coin is it's only one pitch out of like 4. So if Nola's just going to spam curveballs, I don't think that's going to work. And if he throws anything else within his like typical arsenal, Seattle looks very good against it. Nola's season long numbers in terms of run prevention are poor in contrast to how he's been recently. He's been better on the road, and he's pitching in T-Mobile, which is a better park for pitching. I just think this Mariners team is kind of awake, and this number is kind of short. If they can get past the curveball, which again, I think he can punch out 6 batters for sure. 6 batters ain't a lot when you're talking about 6 innings though. He's projected to go 17.5, so exactly 6 innings. I kind of struggle. I looked at that. I was wondering, do I want to take the over or the under the pitching outs? And I could never really decide because I couldn't pinpoint how I felt about Nola in this game. And that kind of led me to, I think Seattle's going to have success. We get 9 innings. So if the Philadelphia bullpen can do anything for us and we can get just 1 or 2 runs off of Nola, we're over halfway there. How this fails is the Seattle Mariners just turn into who they were a month ago. They just get blanked. I think that's really the only thing to worry about here. Nola, though he's been better, he's still going to give you 1 or 2 earned runs before he's kicked out of the game. So I feel comfortable at 3.5 here. If it was 4.5, no. I don't think I'd feel comfortable. But 3.5 at minus 118, I think it's the only bet on the board that I could really get you to 2 bets today.
Yeah. No, that's fair, man. I mean, it's a little bit of a hold your nose, and I mean, I'm kind of getting into one of those myself. I love
this pick.
Backing the Stros, but plus 130. I thought you would really like this one, honestly, because of this number here, plus 130. And there's just a lot of trends in this game for the Stros against the Yankees that point towards this being a lot closer to even money than plus 130, in my estimation. Let's start with Ethan Pecco, who was not good after he allowed 2 runs, 3 hits, just made it 3.2. He did have 4 Ks and 3 walks, and the Ks are what stand out to you because he was at an incredible number in the minors for his strikeout stuff. His chase rate was awesome. This is a good matchup for the youngster here against the Yankees, the way that they've been hitting. He did not allow he allowed 2 hard hit balls, rather. There was 2 hard hits, but there was no barrels that he gave up in that last game. Angels, not a great lineup. Obviously, we know that. Yankees, not as good as the names on the well, there are no names on the jersey, but you get my point.
Doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Precisely. Yep. They did not make any kind of real solid contact. They had 10 batted balls. That was it. So like it was a short sample. Nerves were high. It's not easy to go into Yankee Stadium and assume that those nerves are going to quiet down a little bit. But look, 11.2 on the swinging strike rate. There were a lot of nerves, but he was getting pretty good stuff around the zone overall. Graded really well with his plus stuff as well. Stuff plus, however you want to talk about it. It really seems like he has 4 pitches that are above average at this point that he can really use well. Struggle to locate them precisely. I think it's going to matter a little bit. Less, against the Yankees. Yes, against the Yankees. 29th in WOBA for this squad here against righties since the break. A 78 weighted runs created plus against righty. This is a bottom 10 team on offense against righties since the All-Star break, which was now more than a month ago, everybody. So it's been enough of a sample size for us to believe in this. Slashing with a 203 average, 281 and 356 on the OPS. 28% K rate, my man, since that time frame, right? So then you look at the other side. Will Warren is not the Will Warren that we thought he might be about to be, for lack of a better way to say it. He's at a 4.43 ERA. He's got a 4.67 X and then a 4.27 FIP overall in the whole season, but that's not telling you the whole story because it's a tale of two halves for this dude. He had a 2.59 ERA in the first month, 3.82 in the second month. Since then, he's been without editorializing it, bad, just objectively bad. 6.08 ERA. That's in 23 innings of work over the course of the second half of the season since the middle of June. His first June start came and on the 8th was when he made his first start in that month. There's been 12 starts since then. He's actually had a relief appearance as well. Still up at about a 5.78 ERA, 6.3 on the X ERA. Like, it's all bad. There's no underlying numbers to sort of help him and save him. Both of these teams are looking at pretty well-rested bullpens. Neither of them played yesterday on Monday. The Yankees bullpen's been a little bit better according to ERA, but the underlying stuff still backs the Astros bullpen. So, like, on all of these grades here, I think, Will Warren has told us who he is for the last 2 months of the season. Ethan Pecco has some time to show us who he can be. There's definitely an upward trajectory for this kid. I'm going to take the plus 130. I mean, if this was plus 110, maybe I'm a little bit more hesitant because of the Pecco stuff, but I'm overlooking that at the plus 130 number.
Yeah, a couple things. Your last point, you said plus 110. I make this plus 113. Obviously we have a lot more on Will Warren than we have on Ethan Pecco in that projection. But I think the plus 113 disparity with plus 130 is very telling in itself. And then you just look back, take a step back and think, okay, so let's just say the pitching is a wash. We know it's not. Will Warren is probably has a bit of the edge here. Where's the edge in the offense?
Right.
We kind of went over this point before with Toronto and Tampa Bay with Dylan Cease, and I can't even remember who was on the mound for Tampa Bay at the time. It didn't matter because during that time frame, during that sample, Toronto could not put bat to ball. They could not get a base runner on base. They could not get a runner home. And though I don't think the Yankees are that anemic when it comes offensively, if you're telling me that it's a 0-0 offensively, I don't care about the slim margin of experience Will Warren has versus Ethan Pecco. The plus 130 is outrageous in my opinion. This is like purely plug your nose, bet on principle number. Like that's what this is. It doesn't matter if the Yankees offense wakes up today and goes for 7 runs and blanks Houston. I don't think that makes this a bad bet at all. Right. In fact, I would argue if you took the Yankees at the minus 140 number, it's worse. It's a worse bet. This is a bet on principle at worst. And I think plus 130 is an absolute gift and a market maker sleeping. Give me the plus 130.
I think so. And the Stros have been a little bit bad against righties in this month, like worse than they have been because they're a top 10 offense essentially against righties on the season. And they have not been that in the month of August, but just outsider. They're basically like top, slightly worse than average essentially. So they're still not like out of the realm. And I think their offense still has plenty to offer in support of Pecco here. So I also like the Pecco 4.5 Ks. The dude's chase rate, all the underlying stuff shows you he was at more than a strikeout an inning in the minors. And I still think he's capable of doing that against the Yanks team that, like I said, in the second half of the season against righties, a 28% chase rate. That's going to be bottom 10 in the league. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Appreciate everybody tuning in as always. We are back on a roll. Not going to be missing any more time for me gallivanting around Europe or anything like that. We are here for the rest of the season during the weekdays. So make sure to subscribe to that channel. Keep coming back till we see you for tomorrow's slate. Happy betting.